Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Driven Wild. Today we are talking about normalized not tipping. Viewers defend DoorDash driver who called out two Cracker Barrel customers for how much they tipped. I feel like this headline itself is so polarizing that it already says, I'm looking to tell you that tipping on DoorDash is not something you should do. And quite honestly, that's disgusting to whoever wrote this article. But either way, DoorDash driver went viral talking about not tipping customers. So with that said, I want to go over everything that is being said in this article, how it actually is for gig workers and customers and everything in between. So with that said, let's get started. A DoorDash driver is getting mixed reactions on TikTok after encouraging people to tip when they order for food delivery. Now, here is my opinion on this. I think people should tip on DoorDash and on UberEats and on Grubhub, but I don't believe we should be telling them to tip because honestly, the fact of whether they tip or not displays a very strong amount of their character. Are there certain exceptions to the rule? Sure. One person in the comment section of one of my videos said that if they're from Japan, it's actually an insult in their culture to tip a waiter or waitress. And obviously I'm paraphrasing that pretty hard, but the way things work in America and the way things work in Canada and the UK and wherever else is completely different than those in Asian cultures. And if you're going to move to a country where things operate differently that much, then you gotta be okay with how things are operated where you're going. Like, if waiting online at a store is not okay in the United Kingdom or something, and I don't know how it is in the United Kingdom, I've never been there, but let's say waiting online is not okay in the United Kingdom, but now they show up to a grocery store and they go to the front of the line. How is that gonna be okay just because they're from another culture? Like, come on. In the video, Dan at Doordash Dan 1 explains that he got two orders from Cracker Barrel that live about 0.2 miles of each other and about 5 miles from the restaurant. I'm going to leave his TikTok as well as his profile in the description so you can develop your own opinions on the subject. Dan says the way they each handled the delivery shows him two different types of people that use DoorDash. And that's a very good point, and I think more people need to acknowledge that. It doesn't just show how much value the customer is getting. It's who the person is and how they're going to respond to you through how they tip. Which is why I don't believe you tell people to tip, because I want you to display that to me immediately.
Almost basically the two different kinds of people in life.
Person A tipped him $8.50, while person B did not tip at all. Okay, one thing that already displayed is something DoorDash actually does. It's something known as the host and leech stacked order. One person tipped $8.50 for the delivery, and they actually tipped really well. They may have hidden it on DoorDash, but whatever. But either way, they're going to go to the customer, and then they are really appreciating the time, effort, and energy that the driver put in to bring them their order. Person B, on the other hand, didn't tip at all, meaning that they don't appreciate the driver for the work he's put in. They don't think the driver was worth it at the end of the day. In fact, they're probably going to find any reason in the world to rate him badly, claim that they stole the food. You might get an account violation later on. They may be super micromanaging, and on top of all of that, they are so entitled to where they're gonna blame you for whatever reason, probably through some refund method. And you're gonna get deactivated because you worked with a customer like that. Now, DoorDash has been trying to combat those customers too, but it's not to the same degree as they are deactivating drivers.
I drove all the way for their order, and they tipped me nothing, and the only thing I got was the base pay that DoorDash paid me.
Like I said, those people aren't worth working with. He said it got him thinking about whether others want to be more like person A or person B.
I don't want to be friends with you if you're person B.
I don't want to be friends with people like that either. And think about it like that. It's not even just people like DoorDash drivers, Uber Eats drivers, Grubhub drivers that judge you for not tipping. It's the people around you too. In his caption, Dan says generosity goes a long way. Is it even generosity if it's for a DoorDash, Uber Eats, or Grubhub driver, or is it just common courtesy? Human decency. Common sense. The video has nearly 25,000 views and hundreds of comments. The things you do for content, huh? In a follow-up video, Dan explained that DoorDash's base pay is $2. If the order keeps getting rejected, the base pay will increase incrementally. $2, $2.25, $2.50. And for stacked orders, it could actually be $2. I think dollar base pay is coming. Whoever said that, I think it was Pedro. But either way, they're right. If the order keeps getting rejected, it keeps increasing incrementally in 25-cent intervals. But over time, they're just going to cancel the order out. Right. If he took an order that only paid base pay and had no tip, he'd be spending about 20 minutes of his time, 5 to the restaurant, 5 waiting for the order, and 10 driving to the customer's home for $2 in an hour that ends up being $6 an hour, a rate below the $7.25 federal minimum wage, which is exactly why I constantly preach no tip, no trip. Not no tip, as long as I'm stacked with another person, it's okay if I don't tip. Not no tip, do it anyway and be upset about it when I get rated poorly for no reason. Not no tip, expect a cash tip on arrival. No tip, no trip. It's that simple. That's why it doesn't work if you don't tip. So just be a good person and tip, Dan says. But again, that's why I would rather just not work with that person, because you know that person's going to be a bad person. Now you want bad people to pretend as if they changed long enough, reluctantly tip, mix themselves in with people we actually want to work with, and then affect our ratings and overall account safety working with them. Let those parasites' food get so cold that it turns into ice, or let the order get canceled. It doesn't matter. Dan agreed with a commenter who said he should be more upset with DoorDash for paying starvation wages than at the customer declining an optional fee, adding that in a perfect world, his frustration could be directed at the food delivery company, but they want to make money and I have no way to change their base pay. All of us agree with the prospect of being mad at the company. We've been fighting them for years. In fact, GigTube actually made a post not too long ago saying, we've been fighting this for over 5 years and things have only gotten worse. If you honestly believe that things are gonna change just because we've been mad at them about it, we've been fighting them about it, you're out of your dang mind. Commenters were split about Dan's original video. Some said they always make an effort to tip delivery drivers well, and we always like to work with those people. I will always be person A. I can't afford to give a good tip. I can't afford to use DoorDash, one person said. And that's exactly the point. DoorDash is a luxury service. If you can't tip, you shouldn't be using DoorDash. I tip the amount I think someone would have to pay me to do it. I'm lazy, so I always tip at least 10, and if it's raining or snowing, I tip at least 20 another road. That's going above and beyond, man, and I salute you for that. I always tip more. I'm very lazy and thankful someone can do it for me, a commenter wrote. Others expressed that they think delivery fees combined with tipping expectations have gotten out of control. You mean you're paying for a luxury service and you don't like that you have to pay for a luxury service? What the hell's wrong with you people? I stopped using DoorDash because the menu prices are super high and there are so many fees. Then when you get to the tip, you've paid $1 million, a person said. Well, first of all, that is highly exaggerated saying it's $1 million, but I do understand your point, and you did the right thing by not using DoorDash anymore, as opposed to continuing to use DoorDash and being upset about the fees you're paying. The delivery cost is too much. Complain to the company, not its customers. Another wrote, you're a piece of crap that justifies poor behavior, and you're probably abusive to your family just as much as you are to us. I barely have enough for the food. Sorry, can't tip, a comment, or shared, then you shouldn't be getting the food in the first place. Get up off your stupid ass and get to the restaurant to pick it up yourself, because obviously you don't have the cognitive understanding to know how the system works. This is my opinion. It's worth what you pay for it. And you pay me. There you go. Obviously, it's as clear as day that the writer was intending to start a very polarizing subject. Should absolutely be ashamed of herself for that. But there were a lot of very good points that were brought up. Number one, never take host and leash orders. I don't care if the stacked order seems like it's good, but the reality is you're justifying poor behavior for customers that shouldn't be on the platform to begin with by accepting orders from those people. If they seem like they're bad people to work with, just say no. You're putting your own account in jeopardy working with people like that. You just heard how they justified poor behavior so many times. Why would you want to condone that behavior with giving your services? That kind of gaslighting, that kind of manipulation is not something that should ever be condoned, whether you're a retail worker or in business for yourself. And I think that kind of behavior has been justified way too often. Now, I do believe that the driver shouldn't have tried to convince people to tip their drivers, because quite honestly, you don't want to work with bad people. It's just that simple. People who are bad people should not be worked with, period, let alone worked with on a platform that proves that they don't have the integrity and character to tip their drivers anyway. Are there exceptions to the rule? Of course there are exceptions to the rule. But those exceptions don't justify putting your cost, your expenses, that much higher than the income you would be making. Because quite honestly, $2 for a single order, you're probably losing money that way. Now, if you're a customer that complains about the delivery fees and all that, then quite honestly, you shouldn't be on the platform. Recognize for a second that it's a luxury service, and if you don't like the fact that you're paying for a luxury service, stop paying for it. It's not that hard of a concept to grasp. All in all, just don't work with bad customers who don't tip you, because there is less than 0 times where they're ever worth working with. Because there are far more times that customers who don't tip are hindering your ability to make money, rather than working with customers that you should be working with in the first place, who deserve your service. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. As always, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace!